Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. As you can see, it's been a wet old morning here in Sydney town, and what I've decided to do is to talk to you about a book entitled The Hidden Messages in Water. How appropriate for this wet old day. This book was published a while ago, over 20 years ago, on the 7th of May 2004 by a Japanese author named Masaru Emoto. So let's go on a walk and talk whilst I walk in these magnificent grounds of Sydney University and see what we can learn, what we can appropriate, and what we can use to help us make better sense of the world around us. So this book here felt like a whisper, a secret waiting to be told. Reading this book is like your heart leaning in before your mind catches up. Whether you believe in energy, consciousness, or the molecular memory of water, or you're simply open to wonder, there's no denying how the words from this book, from this author, will help make you feel. So let's dissect this book and take some of its interesting points. And this book is a little bit different. It's a little bit out there. So just bear with me, keep an open mind and an open heart, because you just never know where you may learn something new, and it may help you join the dots and understand some parts of life a little bit better. The first key message from this author is where they say that words carry weight, literally. When Emoto described how water crystals changed shape based on words spoken to them, all you can do is just simply pause and think. Love created symmetrical and beauty in the words. You fool made chaos. Hello. It felt wild at first, like science was meeting poetry, and yet it made perfect sense. We are mostly water. I think the human body is made up of 70% or more of water, and our planet and every living organism is made of water as well. So what are our words doing to ourselves and each other? An interesting concept. It makes one rethink how we speak to people, how we speak to ourselves, because the key message is that words don't simply hang in the air, they land. And they leave important marks. The next point that comes from this author is where gratitude is the most beautiful frequency. And there's a part of this book that will hit you especially hard. Emoto describes how water responded to the phrase "thank you" with the most breathtaking crystal formations. This in and of itself is quite remarkable and quite humbling. So simple and yet so powerful. Thank you isn't just polite, it's healing, it's alignment. And this can help make us start whispering gratitude more often, to our morning coffee, to the sky, even to our own reflection. Another message from this author is that music has a physical impact. As Emoto played different types of music to water samples, the patterns told a story. Classical music was elegant and created orderly crystals. Heavy metal, on the other hand, created distorted and fragmented ones. So this is more than a science experiment. It makes us and helps us reflect on what we surround ourselves with every single day. What kind of music, in words and in people and in energy, are we allowing into our spaces is a key message, because what we allow in clearly shapes our mood, it shapes matter, and it impacts us in ways that we didn't quite think possible. Another message is that our environment responds to us. Throughout the book, Emoto's experiments keep pointing to the same idea. Water listens, it responds, so does the world. It's not just about controlling what's outside of us, it's about changing what comes from us. And this realization in and of itself helps us become more mindful, more gentle. If water, this essential fluid, this essential life-giving force, mirrors our inner state, then maybe everything else does too. Prayer, according to this author, can alter the physical world. One of the most stirring parts of the book was that Emoto describes how group prayer changed the quality of polluted water. There are some things deeply sacred about that, something collective. It reminds us that prayer isn't just wishful thinking, it's focused intention. And intention, when unified and pure, carries transformative power, not just emotionally, but physically as well. The author reminds us that children understand what we forget. Emoto often mentions how children respond instinctively to water, how they're drawn to it, how they talk to it, how they play with it. They don't overthink it, they just feel it. And this is really, really interesting. And we move on to talk about scientific rigour, and it's not the only path to truth. This book has been criticised for its lack of strict scientific methodology. But when you read it, you realise this author isn't chasing proof. He was chasing beauty, meaning, connection. That in itself is a valuable lesson. Not everything has to be dissected to be real. Some truths are felt in the soul before they are graphed in the lab. And the last key point is that we are a living message in water, the final unshakable truth that settles us is that we are mostly water. If water responds to love, to music, to prayer, to words, then so do we. We are constantly being shaped by what we receive and by what we give. So the question becomes, what message are you sending to your own body, to the people around you? What vibration are we actually living in? Thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, and we'll chat again soon. Bye for now.